Cancerians, this is Star with Ariana Stark. This is your forecast for the year 2021. In this forecast or in this reading, we will cover areas like general influences. We'll also cover topics like your love and relationship or also your professional life. We will rely on tarot for your overall reading, and I'll also use some oracle decks, maybe angel therapy cards to wrap up this reading. I'm also being called upon to use Celtic Lenormand, so I'll use them. Cancerians, please keep in mind that these are all random messages. Towards the final days of 2020, stepping into 2021, I think you needed to have a very cooperative approach. Sometimes, we have this Nine of Wands, this person, he's feeling as if he's done his best, but then it was a frustrating period because despite giving your best, maybe rewards were not coming in. Perhaps, like I said, you needed to have a very cooperative approach with other people, with colleagues, or within the home front as well. Basically, these challenges also shape us as a person, Cancerian, so you should understand that this is also a learning curve. Obstacles to overcome this year, we have the Eight of Cups. Certainly, there are emotions which are going to play havoc in your life. Maybe you may feel a bit of a separation also with somebody, be a feeling of loss as well. But professionally, I think Cancerians, you're being challenged to give your best. For some of you, I'm also picking up that there could be movement or travel also, which is on the cards, or maybe you're going to make travel plans in this year. Largely, I think Cancerians, you have to focus on work. You have to finish all the routine work that is there. There could also be some health issues which are there. Maybe you have to focus on inner healing as well. Clarifications will also be sought with respect to bookkeeping or accountancy work. So try to have a very transparent approach with respect to bookkeeping or with respect to financial issues. Influences for the year for Cancerians, we have the Six of Swords. I think everything will fall in place in the end, even if you think that there's no end in sight. Possibly there could be an uprush of energy and you're being called upon to be more active. Sometimes, maybe we feel that the work is not going to come about or it's not going to pay dividends. But towards the 11th hour, towards the last minute, everything begins to fall in place. So you have to be prepared for such kinds of situations. There'll be surprises as well in 2021. Again, for Cancerians, I'm also picking up that maybe there'll be in technical work or paperwork which you have to look into, which you have to deal with as well. This is also the energy which talks about travel or movement. So many of you may be also traveling for greener pastures as well. Again, I'm also picking up that estranged people could re-enter your life this year. Besides, I think, Cancerians, I think you should keep your cool in circumstances or in situations. I think you should also tap into your contacts and ask your family members or your acquaintances to help you out. Maybe they could bring in work offers for you. The first 4 months for Cancerians, that is January, February, March, April, we have the Ten of Swords. Certainly the pressure is going to get to you in this period, but then you should remember that everything is cyclic, that the good and bad, both coexist. I mean, we also have two sides of a coin. So certainly you have to take these challenges head on. Even if you think that nothing is coming about, you have to carry on. I think you should also tap into members of the opposite sex, those of whom are your friends, because they could help you out in the circumstances that you are in. In case you're already employed, I think work pressure will definitely be insurmountable. Maybe you think that your rivals are also sharpening their knives behind your back. Incidentally, I think in this period, you could also baffle your loved ones with respect to your career decisions. Maybe you're too overburdened or too overexhausted or too tired because of the oppressive situation at work. So maybe you may also want to quit. Ideally, I think Cancerians, you have to think things. Nonetheless, I think Cancerians, you should be happy about this because a particular person could help you out in the circumstances. Maybe you also, sometimes you may feel as though you are back to square one, but then this person is definitely there having your back. So that is something which is a big plus in your life. May, June, July, August are these months. We have the Two of Pentacles. Certainly, you will be juggling money and energy in this period. Maybe there's a decision that you have to make and you're undecided about the same. I think you should also be very careful while working on the computer when with respect to technical work. Maybe you could erase data. Maybe technical gadgets could also act up, or they could malfunction in this period. So ideally you should have a backup of your plans or backup of your data so that you don't lose out on anything. Another thing I'm also picking up, I think that there'll be financial gains in this period, but then you should not be a bit avaricious or greedy. Maybe you could risk it all and in the end you may not have much to show. So that could leave you a bit crestfallen as well. I think you could also be someone who's getting assistance from somebody, but then you should follow your own instincts as well with respect to decision making, especially with respect to financial matters. Sometimes you may also find in these months that you'll have to redo the work. Maybe you have to incorporate some more inputs from your boss or from your colleague. That means that alterations have to be made. Also, Cancerians, I think you should work in a very ethical fashion and you should abide by the law rather than give in to something which you would regret later. There'll be times when also you will be acting generously in this period. Maybe there'll also be reunions in this year, so that could lift your spirits up a bit. So try to promote yourself, and in these circumstances, maybe there could be some acquaintance who could help you on account of your networking skills. September, October, November, December, we have the Magician card, which is talking about divine timing, and I'm also picking up the Hangman. So again, in this period, work will increase for you. Professionally, I think you'll be in a better position. Maybe sometimes you have to make those sacrifices, or you may not, in case you're looking for higher pay, you may not be granted that. Or maybe you're looking for a better position at work, you may not be granted that, but then divine timing is at work in your life. Another thing, Cancerians, in this period, you should also guard against ill health. Perhaps you should do some spiritual cleansing, because the issue of negative energy or black energy is also there, which I'm picking up. So perhaps you should focus on light, and you should live in open spaces as well. Physically or mentally, it could be a draining period, so that is why I think you need to guard against ill health. But all in all, in these months, you will definitely find that you'll have to prioritize, you have to reschedule the work. Maybe something comes up and you have to adjust your schedule accordingly. Basically, you have to respond to emergency situations. But while working also, I think Cancerians, you should not overlook the details. Earlier in this reading, I did say that your colleagues may point out that there have been issues or you need to review the work. Whatever it is, I think your personality will also be something which people will notice. Maybe you are coming across as a magnetic personality. Maybe you're also very kindly disposed towards other people. With respect to your love life, I have the card numbing. I think you should express your feelings, Cancerians, instead of numbing your self or not being open to the idea of love. Again, we have the card divine timing. This is ironic because the Magician was also in your reading. So again, this seems to corroborate that even in your love life, divine timing is at work. You need to be patient with people. There'll be a tension coming your way from the opposite sex. In fact, the opposite sex will definitely try very hard to impress you. Maybe they'll assist you at work in the hope that you will give them a second chance. Maybe they want to form an attachment, or they want to connect with you on the love plane. It is certainly flattering to get the attention of the opposite sex, but then don't string anyone along in case you're disinclined or disinterested. Those of you who are crushing on someone, maybe you'll be a bit crestfallen in case you try to reconnect with the person or in case you express yourself. So maybe that is why this card numbing, this feeling of being numb, maybe you think love isn't yours, but then you should be mindful because we have the card divine timing right next to numbing here. So certainly, whatever it is, even if you feel let down because you have reconnected with this person and this person isn't giving you much of a thought, but you should realize that divine timing is at work. So whatever happens is for your greater good as well. Unwanted attention is also quite likely for Cancerians this year, so work on your body language in case you want to do away with those roadside Romeos. On the other hand, those who are romantic, I think you can expect a flurry of messages from your beloved. Maybe he or she is also going to praise you to the skies because you're quite brilliant and bright. Besides, you're also very determined. There'll be witty exchanges with your partner or your person. Sometimes you may be bouncing ideas off each other, maybe you're discussing work. That could also be a possibility, but your lover will also be someone who is concerned about your health as well. There could also be some kind of opposition that you're facing with respect to your love life. Maybe your family members would dissuade you from forming an attachment with someone. In case you are in a connection or in case you're in your relationship which is unhappy, then I think infidelity could also be a factor here for many Cancerians. Maybe there'll be disagreements with your in-laws as well. Maybe they think that you're very dominating as a person. So you need to tone it down a bit. I think some of you may also be in a relationship which could be very oppressive. Maybe the person is very dominating. I think violence in any relationship or domestic violence is something which those of you are facing should stand up against. From Lenormand, we have the card Fish, which talks about abundance. We see this card here, which also has the waterfall. So certainly you're being asked to go with the flow. Maybe you need to collaborate because you know the fish stays in a community. It's in a school of fish, that is what we say. So you're being called upon to collaborate and communicate with other people. Another card we have here is the Star. So certainly this person is looking towards the stars for guidance. So you are being called upon to understand that fate is at hand. Some minor gains can be expected for Cancerians as well. Let's wrap up this reading with some messages from angel therapy cards. We have the God box. Crabs or Cancerians, you are being called upon to write down your wishes or worries or cares in a piece of paper, and you can put it in a God box at the altar. These messages, you should forget about them and you should let the universe or your angels take control of those wishes that you have. This card in this reading is the Ear Chakra. Cancerians, you're quite intuitive as beings and as human beings. So you're being called upon to listen to the messages that you're getting. Maybe you're clairaudient as well. Sometimes we also listen to songs and there are messages in the song. So maybe you're being called upon to pay attention to them. Another thing, Cancerians, you should also work on your ear chakra. Maybe you need healing with respect to your ear. Perhaps a visit to the ENT specialist could also be on the cards for some Cancerians in this year. I hope Cancerians, you liked your reading. This is Star with Ariana Star. Please give us your feedback in the comment section. We also have the weekly love reading which is published every week. Have a look at that as well to get greater insight into your love life. This is Ariana Stark signing off. Take care. Bye. Till the next time.